That was really enthusiastic.
What's wrong with you? I'm just kidding. I'm not trying to promote bad vices or
but if you
pressure
are,
you.
we hope that you are enjoying it and you can enjoy your time.
And we
enjoy
just like you
your
better.
Yeah.
You passed the vibe check. You passed the vibe check.
You passing the vibe check, man. It's an important thing to take care of nowadays, man. But yeah, another lovely week. We just survived. A lot of cool stuff is going on.
Yep.
Kind of less of the topics that we're normally used to talking about.
We're going to talk a little more about action sports.
Action sports. And then, maybe some esports stuff in general.
Sports in general. Okay.
But before that, like we've always kind of been showing throughout these episodes, we've been getting invited to a lot of different things. I was recently invited to do a voiceover for the History Channel.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Right? But, the fucked up part was, he signed mine's and Malcolm's name away so they could document us in real life. That was a bit embarrassing. A little invasive. But, yeah, check it out.
Hey, man, anything to make sure we get that check. But anyhow, let's see the sketch.
It's for the bag.
Throughout the generations, humanity has conquered all that it has faced. Our origins started simple, where technology only was ever advanced to hunt the biggest game to feed a village. But now, technology has increased rapidly in just a few generations. How we interact with the world changes faster than some can keep up. But how much has really changed? Humanity still utilizes an ancient herb to help with the downtime. But the abundance and ease of access of it has drastically changed in recent years.
Yo, what's good, man?
Hey man, thank you for coming on such short notice. Thank you.
Tonight, right?
Yeah man, thank you.
See what you wanted, the 8th?
Yeah, I got the 8th, man.
Alright, throw in a little extra, don't tell nobody. For real though.
Oh shit, alright. Thanks man, thank you.
That
Yeah, good
party
man.
on, hell yeah. Okay, I'm going to Silmar, right? Silmar, and I'm going Dr. Fernandez, bro. Alright, what do I tell him? Glaucoma. Okay, I tell him I'm glaucoma. Or how about I just tell him I'm anorexic? I'm not that fat, fool. What can I tell him? Alright, will he accept that? You'll give me the marijuana card? Alright, so what's the name of the marijuana card place? Oh, okay, for sure. And I'm gonna get goodie bags? Oh, hell yeah. Alright, for sure. I'm down for the goodie bags. Alright.
Hello? Yeah. Can I place an order? Can I get delivered? Girl Scout cookies. I do want some OG Kush, that top shelf shit. I'm none of that mid shit, Hey, bro, what do you want? Do you want that sour Kush?
Yo, that shit hit nice last time.
Right.
Let's get that one again.
Alright, bet.
that one again.
I got.
Even in ancient times, most males were unable to find a suitable mate, but the body still craves the physical relief. Because of this, humanity has always tried to innovate and make the deed more convenient. Discretion being the most important in every advancement.
What the fuck do I want to get in today? First girl captures and pets back. Hey Siri, give me nighttime mode.
However, not everything in our world changes so drastically. Some things are so ingrained into our DNA that it's nearly impossible to change. Our necessity for violence and war has never disappeared. The desire to be accepted by our peers is even ever present. And even some situations in the internet sphere may seem very similar depending no matter what generation you're looking at.
Omega game is take your shirt off and show your chest? I don't know about that one. That's too weird for me. Oh shit!
Oh, hey, what's going on, man? Yeah, you struggling to find some girls, bro? Yeah. I saw a chick tonight, bro. all dicks tonight, bro. Nah, yeah, I feel you. Alright.
Why the fuck? Dick's here, dick's there. You know what? You want to show dick? All right, bet. I will show my dick. How about that? How do you like that? Do you want to see mine? I don't care. You know what? Here you go.
The history of man is filled with twists and turns. How we came to be in the present can only be appreciated by understanding the past. Until next time, thank you for watching. The History Channel presents Man, the Three Generations.
Welcome
we
back. We are back. We are back. We are back.
And per usual, let's start it off right. Let's go.
With the drink.
Oh.
Woo! I put my finger in your drink by accident. You might want to.
See the prints.
You're good. You're good. You're good.
It's alright. I like my rim a little sloppy.
Like some of those ladybugs, man.
Some Scooby snacks, bro. That's disgusting. You know I do not. I like it well cleaned. Like your boy said, you know, like get a baby wipe.
You got a baby wipe and everything. That is a massive inside joke that no one's gonna catch right now.
I feel like people will put the dots together. Honestly, it's not that hard to figure
joke,
out.
kids. Learn the rules of engagement. We kind of started this off into a weird direction, but all right.
Speaking of ass, okay, we got fucking Billy Joel getting his ass beat this past weekend.
Billy Joe Saunders versus Canelo was the big fight that was happening this past weekend.
Yeah.
And it was also even bigger for the fact that I think this was the first major sporting event that had a large crowd.
And it broke a record-breaking crowd, which is crazy. It was about, like, what, around 73,000 people.
Yes, over 70,000 people.
And the crazy part is his upcoming fight in September that he's planning. He wants to do it in the Mexico Arena, which holds like 150,000 people.
Oh, is this
yeah.
the fucking, like, I wonder if it's like the arena that's like hella Aztec architecture influence. But anyhow, that's kind of in the future. Let's talk about the fight that happened.
Yeah.
What was your take on the fight? Because we know Canelo, he's our boy, you know, making the Mexicans proud, making all the Latinos, Hispanics proud and whatnot.
Viva Latino, hell yeah, I love that he did it in Cinco de Mayo weekend too, and his intro, his opening was super fucking dope. So big respect to that. Shout out to Canelo. Put up our little socials.
Oh right, that's important to have.
Follow us.
Follow us. Follow us there. Follow him there. That is our socials.
Yeah.
And then, unfortunately, our producer couldn't be here, but this is his stuff. You know, you gotta spread the wealth.
We're still kicking ass.
Hey,
though.
we're still kicking ass. We're getting better at the stream deck. We're running it by ourselves.
Yep.
But yeah, how did you like the fight though? Because I thought it was a dope fucking fight.
I thought it was a dope fight, and you know, like I knew Canelo was in reserve. He always in reserve in the middle, but like to see Saunders really pick it up towards the middle and actually like really start to pick it up and make it look like this is a good ass fight going. Like it was
Heck
cool.
yeah.
A lot of good returns, a lot of good punches on both sides. But yeah, like once that fucking the steam started rolling, like once I saw the switch in Canelo, I knew the switch was coming in.
Yeah.
It was nonstop, and I was like, all right, for sure.
The crazy thing is too, the Canelo camp said that this is gonna be the fight is gonna finish by the 8th or the 9th round.
Yeah.
And I believe it finished at the 8th round.
Yeah.
So they called it hands down, and it honestly was really cool for me to see Canelo fight where his opponent wasn't really scared. In fact, like he wanted to fight Canelo.
I mean, all boxers are kind of like that until they actually get into the ring. The first round, he was kind of shook, actually. Billy Joel Saunders, like, the first round, he was like, the second round, he snapped back into reality, but he was shook. He didn't really know what to do a lot for the first round.
That first round's kind of hard.
Yeah.
Like, I can understand it for anybody because it's Canelo. He's one of the most intimidating men on the face of the fucking planet.
But you know damn well he's a pro because it took him that one round to get comfortable. And, like, you know, a lot of people, their nerves, they don't go away after it's that bad for that long. Like, after one full round, like, he came back. He was ready for some action.
And especially since, like, the first and second round, Canelo was really handing it to Saunders for a good amount of time. Canelo was really feeling out to see, okay, where is this person, like, where is the defense weak at? Where can I strike? And he was throwing a lot of different combinations, a lot of different strikes and whatnot, just to get a feel of Saunders. And then, like you said, kind of like the third round, we talked about this before. Canelo likes to go to, like, hibernation a bit, you know, cool down, you know, relax, not take things too seriously. And then by the second half of the fight,
charge up his energy bar.
Exactly. He wants to make sure he can expand those specials at the end.
Yeah, exactly. When it really counts.
But it was crazy though, and just to see how quick that switch and just how drastic the entire landscape of the fight was going to just change. Because once Canelo went in, like this was after Saunders got a couple rounds where he felt like he was taking the match and everything. And then just one shot and a freaking loud crack.
Dude, that crack was so loud. I felt like one of the action snaps, you know? Dude, that shit was crazy. And like the instant change of his face was insane.
Yeah,
it didn't even like usually you need at least a couple seconds for it to really swell. Sometimes 10 seconds, and that's like average. You know, it's not even considered fast. It was instant. His head was caved in, bro.
Yeah, it just one mean. I think it was like a right hook that caught Saunders.
It was just a mid hook.
Fractured his cheekbone, like where the eye socket's at, and then his eye got so swelled up that it took them honestly like a solid 20-30 seconds to even get him to like open his eye very slightly, and then it kind of closed up again.
And just rewatching it, you could tell like Canelo was aiming for it, but he wasn't doing power shots anymore. He already knew he wanted. He just wanted to make sure that, you know, like there's still a minute he could come up with a surprise, like, you know, hook that'll like end it for him. So he just kept it offense. I loved how he was cheering up the crowd. Like,
heck yeah.
That shit was dope.
That was honestly, because we see a lot of cocky fighters and everything, you know, Mayweather being one of the biggest ones. We're talking about him in a little bit. We see a lot of, like, you know, just in fighting in general, especially me with my love of wrestling too.
Yeah.
It's so cool to see just people who are at
we
such...
got Canelo.
Right, we have Canelo. Let's go ahead.
Books! Saunders has decried this as the modern-day David versus Goliath. Let's see if he can do it. Saunders in the green and blue trunks with the yellow gloves. Canelo in the teal.
Let's make this a show.
First punch from Canelo is an uppercut. Another jab from Saunders. Carl, how much different do you notice Canelo's style changes when he fights the southpaw?
Well, he's obviously a little bit more.
Like, you could even see, like,
Canelo backed Saunders up there, putting on the ropes almost there. Really opens up with that big body shot.
Straight right hand connects for Canelo. The crowd roars.
And he said Canelo is just relentless.
Let him go, Saunders. Don't hold.
Like dead ass.
And again, it's just so cool to see Canelo at like just taking fucking, especially how quick he's fighting too.
Yeah.
Like it's pretty normal for a fighter to really only do 1 or 2 fights a year, if 2 at that point, because you know they do their full 6-month camp. They have their whole entourage, press release, and everything.
Nowadays, 6 months is like abnormal nowadays, especially now that we have the internet, a lot of freelancers, and a lot of new networks. Like especially Canelo, he had 3 matches, and we're like a third into the year.
Well,
you know,
he's a whole different breed, and I think also his pursuit. For those of you that do not know, give me 1 second.
Can you know what the no is cooking?
So one thing about Canelo that, for those of you who are not following boxing, the reason why he's fighting so often is because of contractual reasons, A, and also B, probably the most important part, is the fact that he's trying to unify the entire division that he's in the weight class. That's 7 different championship belts that he needs to collect. This is more than Thanos had to collect for Infinity Stones.
And now he's out of his contractual obligation. So now, like, he has a lot more say in the money. And how more frequent he can get the money. So that's more the reason why, like, there's a higher frequency now.
But now he's just one more championship
to that
fight away to unify
belt.
The entire division across multiple different promotions.
Do you think he's going to move up? Like, I'm sure he'll move up for a few fights, but I think he'll stay around the 168 range.
I honestly think he should. I think that, you know, there are certain fighters who their history is in their weight class.
Yeah.
You know, Butterbean is Butterbean, the super heavyweight class, you know. Mike Tyson is a heavyweight champion. Mayweather, I forgot what exact, I think he's welterweight. But I forgot what weight class he's in. But he's the legend of that. And I think Canelo should become the legend of his weight class.
Yeah.
I think that should be his focus. If anything, he's spending so much time trying to unify these belts.
He's killing it on super welterweight.
Exactly.
So yeah, he's a fucking
Yeah,
badass.
I think he should just stay in that weight class, defend all 7 belts, all fucking challengers, whoever approach, and just run that shit for the next 5-6 years, and just become that staple legend, become like the next. He is the next Mexican great fighter of all time.
It's crazy, bro. Like, there's a lot going on with him. I forgot which fight, but like the day before the fight, like his brother got kidnapped.
Yeah.
So like he had to deal with all the negotiations while putting up like a happy face in front of the press and the media and stuff like that. Dude, like, and it's crazy. Like, that's insane. And like he's so like family invested.
Heck yeah.
So like that's one thing I really like about him. He's actually like humbled, down to earth. Like a lot of people with like shitty uprising, they find that as an excuse to be an asshole. But he's a really good guy. He's actually really cool.
And it's really impressive to see that in a boxing community where not necessarily. There's some boxers who are complete dicks, man.
Yeah.
They're complete assholes, terrible fucking human beings.
And a lot of it's like part of the show, like you need heels,
Sure. And speaking of other different things that were on the card too, not as prolific as a match as Canelo versus Saunders, obviously, but one that really took a lot of people by surprise at how good it was. It was Elwin Soto versus Takayama.
Takayama, okay. Takayama. And dude, that shit was crazy. Soto was like pounding him. And he just stood there like a fucking champ, still exchanging fucking blows. I remember Soto at one point, like, he stopped, and he's like...
What do I gotta do to put this guy down?
And that was, like, at least 3-4 rounds before the ref called it.
Yeah.
He just like, what the hell? Like, this guy would not go down.
To provide some
amazing
context into what's going on, again, for those of you who do not know boxing, Takayama is in his late 30s. I think he's like 37.
He's like 37. His last fight was 2014.
Yeah, so it's been 7 years since this man had done an actual professional fight. And Elwin Soto is the champion for the weight class, as well as a very young and up-and-comer. Like,
yeah,
he's young and he's the champion, and
he's in form. You're gonna hear his name a lot more in the future.
Yeah, he's gearing up to his prime, and he's still an excellent boxer. Takayama being, he's the entire announcers were touting him. He's one of the traditional Japanese boxers in which, like, they are soldiers through and through, and we saw that hands down.
Yeah, and he's old. He's at the age when Mayweather retired, So, like, and after that long of a retirement, bro, he came in with Mexican heart, bro.
Heck
for a Japanese man, me being Latino, I didn't watch the fight with you, but I was with my family who was Latino, and then the audience was predominantly Latino. A lot of people were cheering him on. He won the Latino support, and he was fighting against one, which was like big to me. Which was big to me.
Which, it's a side note that I kind of want to mention. It's always super dope. That's why I really love like Latin crowds and like specific crowds from different countries and whatnot.
Especially in sporting events.
You see that, and that's we're getting close to quarantine being over. CDC saying vaccinated people can hang out and do kind of what they would like nowadays.
Yeah, I can do trap shit and not be scared about putting it on Instagram and having people judge me anymore.
But it's like, just to hear the crowd and everything, like just how much overwhelming support they gave to someone who it isn't their fighter by race, by nationality, but who they like, that fighter won them over and they were cheering for them.
Yeah.
And this was such a dope card to see, especially with the crowd, just because of how engaged everyone is, and you just felt it was every fight meant something.
And it really surprised me because a lot of the fights before, there were some really good ones, and then I just saw like the weight difference and the age difference, and I'm like, I don't get this one. This is just for his career, and I think it was, but he definitely got a run for his money.
Heck yeah. The ending may be a little controversial because we're being called out.
He was gonna lose, but he had so much fight left in him.
Yeah, and it's like, if we're gonna I'm gonna throw my opinion in this mix. It's like, okay, I fully understand you calling the match and everything, because there was a point where Takayama really wasn't defending himself. Whatsoever.
But he was still adding points when he could.
Yeah, he was.
He was focused on the point game instead of actually like taking them down. He knew how to play differently.
And then where the fight was actually called is when Takayama and Soto were doing an exchange. Takayama wasn't giving the strongest punches, but he was definitely exchanged, making sure his guard was up and everything.
And it was not like one jab at a time. It was like at least like a couple before he got back. And
so it's it sucks to see, but for us not knowing really Takayama's fighting history before, just to see him, just that one fight was amazing. And it's now Like, I'm really interested to see how his fights used to be back in, like, his
yeah,
prime time
I kind of
now.
want to see his past, his past fights for sure. Kind of sucks when you find out, like, wow, like, this guy's amazing, and he's not going to be fighting anymore.
Yeah.
You know?
But at the same time, we get to take some time to enjoy his career and whatnot.
We might get an exhibition now that he's just developed a humongous following.
Heck yeah, I feel like
so I'm totally down for an exhibition for sure.
And Mexican fans usually are pretty good about steering what boxing match they want to see.
I want to see him fight. I forgot his name, but the Japanese guy that Mayweather fought on the exhibition. I want to see those two fight each other. I think those two kind of line up well as far as strength.
That'll be interesting to see because Mayweather kind of dismantled the kickboxers.
Dismantled is the kindest way of saying it.
Speaking of Mayweather, though, in some boxing / YouTube news as well, as you probably know.
Yeah, I guess we're in YouTube, so let's talk about it. Let's bring up the Paul brothers' names up.
So, yeah, the Paul brothers, those who shall not be named will be named in this episode. Logan Paul recently decided to do some fuck shit to Mayweather. He thought it was just, Mayweather is just another guy. I can do whatever I want to him. And then stole Mayweather. Not fucking down for this.
Nah, it's the next one if you want to play it.
So,
it is crazy.
It's like two solid hits.
Oh shit! Did it stop so soon?
Yeah, I think it's more so that I
I don't know. Maybe
I guess we didn't record enough.
But yeah, dude, that shit was awesome. I was happy to see it. I was happy to see it. I was like, fuck yeah, this child. And like, it was fucked up. I saw this like video where like Logan was actually really upset about it, you know. And he calls and he's like, yeah. So like, they're not gonna let you win the next fight because of what you did, so and so. And then Jake was like, yeah, I don't give a fuck. And then the part that got me, and I never thought I'd feel like remorse for one of the Paul brothers. Jake responded right after Paul said, I don't give a fuck. He responded, but what about me?
Damn.
I was like,
damn. Whoa, they are learning very quick. Their actions have repercussions. And now
they made a little joke about it afterwards, so like, they are brothers, but you could tell that fucking really hurt.
Heck yeah, because I've never seen a boxing match live, but just the energy around it, sporting events in general, like it's a whole different experience watching it live. So to be banned from ever being watching them for at least experience
to see your brothers fight, he was banned from his brother's fight, and like Jake was like, I don't give a shit. And he's like, dude, this is like a big moment for me, like I wanted you by my side, like. We've been through the shits together, left and right,
And now, like, also, like, after the whole incident where Mayweather clocked Logan Paul, you saw Logan Paul being, like, ushered away from his crew, and he looked absolutely shook.
He was shook. He still came back on social media being a little jackass. But he was shook. He got checked. I don't think he's been checked ever before like that.
Yeah, so now it's like
it was well-deserved.
He's taunted one of the most deadliest men on the fucking face of the earth.
Definitely.
We know how much damage Mayweather can do to civilians and everything for situations we will not bring up right now.
Yeah.
But like it's
that's a whole other episode. That should be like we'll save that like a top 5 most embarrassing moments in sports.
And even then we might not even throw that because of reasons. But anyhow, it's like people always want to see the Paul brothers get their ass kicked, and now we are for sure going to see some brutal fucking shit because you poked the wrong fucking bear.
Yeah, and like I love seeing how much like the older I know I had them all right. Logan, I know. It was crazy to see Logan hovering over Mayweather, making fun of his size and his age. Like, bro, you're the one desperately asking for all of this, and you're poking at those.
He's asking for the smoke, man.
So I just want to see his chin get checked so hard where he ain't speaking right for a couple months, I don't want to hear it every day, bro, for at least forever, bro. Like,
I'm so excited, Initially, I was super skeptical. Like, it was kind of one of those things where, like, I don't want to watch the fight. I don't want to promote the Paul brothers. But now it's like, okay, they did their job right. They did their marketing right. Because, again,
Interest has been peaked.
Interest has been peaked. Yeah. And now I know Mayweather wants to fuck up Logan Paul, and I want to see him do it. And he has the reason to do it, and I can't wait for it to fucking happen.
know. All right.
In some other sports news, not traditional sports, but more in kind of esports news. Just kind of, really quick segment wise, in League of Legends right now is currently having their international event, MSI. The reason I want to bring this up is because the North American team, Cloud9, did advance, and it's super hype right now for those of you who are following the professional League of Legends scene, because it's a lot of like the Eastern countries from Asia versus the Western countries, but also who's the best of the West? Is it North America or is it Europe? And who is the beast of the East compared from Japan versus Korea? Whole bunch of interesting storylines, as well as developing other...
that was so smooth. The beast of the East, the whole way you're explaining this, I'm like, what am I watching
now,
here?
like, the wild card regions that normally are kind of looked down upon can be one of the top four, one of the big four. They could potentially be one of the major regions if they knock out either North America or EU, and it's super interesting to see how these dynamics are intertwining. And the reason why we kind of want to bring this up is more side of a conversation that we had before, where it's like, esports has a lot of investors from basketball teams, from football teams, and sports in general. And it's
a lot of like celebrities, big superstars are starting to invest in having their own esports teams now too.
Most notably, Rick Fox. He was really big. He was he was a general manager for one of the teams for Echo Fox that unfortunately got disbanded for reasons. But yeah, we see a lot of humongous sports stars with a lot of capital that they have. So I'm curious. We want to see.
So we're gonna do top four. We want to know
top flight.
Top flight. Top four. I can see why.
I want to know who would you want to have an esports team, or who would you think would be dope to have an esports team?
Okay, so I'll start with my number one, and I mentioned this name already like 20 times throughout the night. So if you don't know, then you're dumb. Mayweather, Money Mayweather. I want TMT to have their own esports league. Because it's a sport, and it's a sport that's making fucking billions and billions of dollars. It's making more money than your biggest sports associations, like, period. That's been established 80 so many years ago. So, like, I want to see TMT, Money Mayweather, have their own esports team, because esports is full of, like, like, a lot of it's very passive and shit like that, and, I want that, I want the fucking advertisements to have fire and be like, so-and-so versus so-and-so. Like, the way our politics are advertised, that's how I want our esports to be advertised. And the best way forward to doing that is to have TMT.
The money team in the business, man.
To fucking have a team.
Actually, really cool, because, for me, I follow esports a lot. Specifically League of Legends, that's kind of the big one. And a lot of things for North America, the European teams and a lot of, like, the European teams specifically, they talk a lot of shit. They're some of the best at talking shit, man. Like, it's awesome to see. In North America, we have very passive players.
They're all just, like, quiet.
Yeah, like, we did really good. We worked as a team. Whatnot. Like, no, I wanted to see them talking shit. Like, no, fuck this dude.
That's what I fucked his mama. I want exactly. I want some culture in fucking
and
esports.
Then I fucked him in the ass.
Okay, well, I think I have an idea for number two.
I want to see, for me, I feel like it would be a surprise, but at the same time, everyone would be totally cool with it because the man just does this anyways, and he's showing up everywhere, all the time, every sporting event. Snoop Dogg, dude.
Snoop Dogg,
I want to see Snoop Dogg have an esports team.
I can see that, honestly. And the cool part about it is, like, part of the contract obligation, like, all right, we're going to have my team a part of your association, but Snoop Dogg is supposed to be an announcer in every event, every big event, like, I know that's going to be part of the contract. I would love that.
Dude, hearing Snoop Dogg as an announcer every once in a while would be fucking amazing.
The first time I heard him announce was, like, Modern Warfare 2, the old one. Back
really?
Yeah, so before there weren't loot boxes, you were actually able to buy things you wanted you wanted, and you're able to buy different announcers, and Snoop Dogg was one of them. So I had my marijuana guns, my marijuana medallions with Snoop Dogg, but like, oh yeah, you just aced that motherfucker, my nizzle. I'm like, oh, let's go. That's right. It just motivated me more to, like, destroy it.
Yeah, so it makes sense. He's already down to some shit with video games, and it'd be cool to see him, like, just being the commentary team for League of Legends, and it would be even funnier if he doesn't really know what's going on, and he's just trying to figure shit out, like, on the fly.
But he'll still talk shit.
He will still talk shit,
like,
man.
He'll see his team is losing, he won't know why. He's like, "Yo, pick your shit up." What the fuck, bro? Like, come on. You lucky I ain't gonna kick your ass after. You know, I could only say so much because I'm on camera. He knows what's gonna happen. He knows what's gonna happen. I can't sound as cool as Snoop. No one can sound as cool as Snoop. Maybe Lakeith, but that's about it.
All right, so who would be your number
My
two?
number two.
For who should have an esports team?
It has to be like someone like just like off-putting. I want to see Charlemagne the God have a fucking esports team.
All right, you go with all the shit talkers. I respect it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, cause that's someone else who's gonna bring the culture in, but at the same time, like Charlemagne has like the craziest fucking work ethic. Period.
Mm-hmm.
And he's also a humongous promoter.
Mm-hmm.
You know how he's written books, right? He written like now he Black Privilege. It's its own publishing name now.
I didn't know
and
that.
he already has years of people and books ready to get printed and stuff down the fucking line. And that book only came out like not that long ago.
Yeah.
Right? So like just to see what he did for the publishing industry for the Black community in that little amount of time. And that much culture being brought into it. Imagine how much of the hip hop culture he's gonna bring to, because hip hop loves sports. They're not into really esports that way.
Yeah. That's still a little too far away.
TMT, that's more just about bringing like the like aggro, like the fucking testosterone into the sport. No, fucking Charlemagne is gonna bring the actual promotions. Bro. Like he's what Oscar De La Hoya should have been as a promoter. That failed miserably. Like I feel like Charlemagne, like he will bring that edge, that hype, that make that shit exciting, and he will continue to promote it on all of his like avenues. You know.
True. Speaking on like people who are known to be amazing promoters, to be very electrifying when they're talking, about things and whatnot, might as well have the most electrifying man in all of sports entertainment.
Flav, I knew you were gonna say
What? No. The man, the myth, the legend, the Brahma Bull himself, Mr. Dwayne The Rock motherfucking Johnson. Would be super sick, cause just imagine that too, like that esports team, is gonna be the fucking monsters of the fucking esports league, because I know The Rock is gonna put them motherfuckers on a workout regimen, because most teams actually have that, which is pretty cool.
Yeah,
they have
really
chefs,
do.
they have a workout
awesome.
routine that's implemented by like the actual
I
organization.
feel like Dwayne is too busy to run a team.
True, but it's like, his brand, even if it's like just by title and his brand is making it, you're gonna get a lot of fucking traction. You're gonna
and at the same time, if I were to be under his brand, it's like, damn, it's The Rock. I don't want to let this guy down. I do not want to let it. Fuck, I gotta try it harder. I'm gonna take advice from that one Disney Channel movie, Brink. Don't lose.
Skate better.
Skate better. That's what it was.
So who would you be your third one?
Just to be petty and just to have this tag back, Kevin motherfucking Hart. Okay. I want to see you and me against in the end, 1v1. We make it to the finals, Dwayne versus Kevin Hart, Sure, Kevin's small as fuck, Dwayne being the big old giant that he is, but the two compete together pretty, like, one-on-one, bro. Like, despite all their differences, they're fucking neck and neck as far as statistics go. So that would be fun to hear, And just to hear just the shit talking, like, Kevin's team, like, they could be losing and be like, yeah, you suck anyway. Yeah, pay attention to me. Yeah. You and Yoma are like just distracting the fuck out of them, but still doing pretty well and grabbing everyone's attention. Even if they keep losing over and over, they're gonna get all the media attention,
Heck yeah.
all the sponsorships, because it's gonna make everybody laugh. Like,
I bet I could just hear Kevin Hart in my head right now yelling, "You can't even play with those big ass fingers."
Yo, that has to be a sketch that we gotta do.
All right, maybe you'll see something of that in the future.
I'm totally down with that big sketch.
Oh, I completely forgot what my third one is from laughing on that one. Oh shit, brain work, figuring out, trying to remember what's going on. Oh, that's what it was. I want to see someone who would just be kind of like random to have again, but someone who kind of just shows up randomly, and you're like, all right, yeah, this makes sense. Jack Black. Jack Black, I feel would be dope. He's doing this whole Jablinski Games things. To have a Jablinski team would be fucking sick. And then every single time they show up, they actually don't play video games. They're just doing a fucking...
They already have like a solid team named the J-Bulls.
It's the J-Bulls!
I'm totally down with it. That would be fucking awesome.
That would be really fucking sick.
And just to see what are the names? The series? What is it called?
Oh,
these events like Evo and shit like that.
Yeah. So there's Evo, MSI.
Yeah. Just to see like the opening event being fucking like, you just hear that soft, sweet like guitar intro. It's all dark. You're like, what's going on? All of a sudden, a 200-foot stadium shows up, Tenacious D. Like, it's one of the most exciting experiences, I'm sure.
It'd be super fucking sick to see Dragon Block in there. But I think that's a pretty good list of all of our different choices of who would be pretty fucking dope to have an esports
I
team.
wanted to say Karen Gillian just so we finish the Jumanji quadrupod, you know?
That's true! We fucking knew so many people from Jumanji! Except the Fridge, you know, he's not gonna get one, but you know, it's alright.
But yeah, let us know who do you want to have a fucking esports team.
Yeah.
There's a lot of great options there, and I'm surprised a lot of these big money-making celebrities have yet to, like, you know, invest in it.
Yeah, like Mark Cuban. I'm kind of surprised that he's not involved.
Mark Cuban is I wanted to actually say Mark Cuban number one, but I have not done my research, and I do not want to be wrong about it because I feel like he would also have his own team. So I left that one out intentionally because I'm not sure about it.
I know for a fact he is aware of it, but I don't know if he's invested in any sort of team or whatnot. But I could be wrong. Yeah. Let us know who you would like to see have an esports
and
team.
He's like the biggest child. For as rich as he is, he's such a child. His TikTok is dedicated entirely just to fucking around with his kids. Like, I love Mark Cuban. So
he's a pretty cool dude. Okay, but in some more, you know, other traditional hip hop news, pop culture news. This is kind of something you can talk about for days.
And it's still kind of in the, like, combative spirit. Fucking Joe Budden. Come on, your podcast is like, it seems like it's done now, so now it's our time to shine. We're filling in that role. We're filling in that Joe Budden podcast
Those socials
role.
you see there are going to start blowing up, man.
Yeah, so Joe Budden didn't really become famous until his podcast with DJ Academics, Everyday Struggle, on the Complex Network. He's going to say, you know, his music did so-and-so. No one gives a shit about his music.
Didn't know he made music.
Yep, he made music, and it was corny as shit, you know. But, I mean, some of it was okay, you know. But, so, many years later after retirement, he comes to Everyday Struggle as a guest host and make him permanent because, you know, he likes to argue a lot. It brings in people, but it also, like, it cuts a lot of ties. So, he ends up leaving Everyday Struggle to make his own podcast, and there's a lot of arguments going on like crazy at the time, and like he's temporarily severs a lot of ties with a lot of people. Shit with the Breakfast Club starts going on. He starts saying, yeah, the Breakfast Club won't last longer than a year. Everyday Struggle won't last anywhere without me. Everyday Struggle just finished its last episode a few weeks ago, and it looks like Joe Budden's new podcast is ending now, and he's making fun of all of these people. Breakfast Club is still going strong. It's some petty shit where, like, his friend was just talking about, yeah, like, other people could want me, and, like, other people, like, are scouting me for their, like, podcasts, and it was more of a conversational thing. Joe Budden saw it as a breach of contract, started, like, flailing and screaming and going crazy.
Yeah, it sounded super intense.
Yeah, firing Rory, and I think Rory, like, if him and Ack can get together, that'd be fucking cool. That'd be so cool if him and Ack, like, had this whole thing together, because they talk about hip-hop, they know about hip-hop, they know about modern, youthful, and future hip-hop, and they don't have this old head opinion where they're just going to be stuck and narrow-minded about it. Like, so I kind of hope, like, they have that whole thing going on, but I also do hope Budden's career does continue, because we do need that old arrogant head just to keep that, you know, to keep that yin and yang thing going on there.
Just to stoke the flames a little bit.
Yeah, that news is still pretty new, so there really isn't much to talk to about that right now. I still want to, like, uncover more as the days progress. But yeah, I think we got some just to show some.
Yeah.
Just
A community of hip hop that y'all are in charge of, right?
I
So.
love hip-hop.
Is that sounding old guy mad still?
No, it sounds like you know you fucked up and you're trying to bring it back.
I ain't fucked up.
What you said? Let me you started the conversation. You said
Joe Budden has never given a fuck about promotion, Angel Diaz.
It was about the
Joe Budden only cares about the forwarding of the culture, Angel Diaz. It ain't about the podcast. I care about rap, nigga. Rap. No, you wrong. You just wrong. Shut the fuck up and be wrong. It's okay to be wrong.
For partnership. Okay. So shout out to your team. Y'all are doing great. Okay. When I shit on Capital, I'm shitting on Capital.
Okay, but Capital has shit to do with me. Okay. I came in and brought with QC the same way they did. I'm just because I'm not hood, the street does not.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy, yeah.
For that to just fall apart as aggressive as it did, you know, I wish we could play the audio. But yeah.
He's an aggressive man, though. And some more kind of news about aggression and less more kind of the real world and more kind of the animated world and whatnot. It is hot. It is hot.
We and turn off the fans for you guys.
We are suffering for your entertainment. I hope you understand this. But the new Venom trailer just dropped recently.
Haven't seen it yet. Tell me about it.
It actually looks pretty fucking good.
Really?
I mean, like, you know, comparative to a lot of the different movies, you know, maybe not the best, but compared to how the trailers for the first movie were, I was really against it. I really wasn't fucking with it.
People loved it though.
I don't know. I still haven't seen the first one.
I haven't seen it either.
Because
I'm glad.
Just as of note, Venom is one of my favorite Marvel characters in general.
Mm-hmm.
Like from anti-hero to villain, there's like he was one of my favorites for so fucking long, and it was always like my staple character to choose in any video game I can get access to him. So anyhow, the Venom trailer actually looks pretty cool. To see Woody Harrelson as Carnage is an interesting choice.
It is an interesting choice, but he's been placed in like roles that were like meant to be feminine often, and like he executes them perfectly. Like he gets placed in roles that were meant for him, and he's after you see it, like you can't see anybody else.
I'm fully like I know Woody Harrelson can for sure play a psychotic fucking murderer if he needs to.
He's
and
taken a lot of drugs to know about like deep psychosis too. So
yeah,
I believe that.
So it looks cool. Some of the interactions with Venom is a little too kind of like a little like corny a little bit.
That's how the trailer for the first one seemed to me. Like, it seemed cheesy, but people and Venom fans really did love it.
It seems a little cheesy, and it's also, but like, it's more so how they're presenting Carnage. It seems like Carnage is really going to be a big deal, and unfortunately, it is going to be a PG-13 movie. We're not going to see Carnage going to be going all out. There was a lot of rumors
about rated R. You can't.
Yeah, it's just Sony's trying to make their money.
Yeah.
Like, we can't see Carnage in his full,
But it's Carnage. Yeah. It's Venom. Like, look, we already had rated R Wolverine. We had rated R Deadpool. Like, there is an audience in all these rated R superhero movies. Every single one, even this TV shows, they all fucking kill. They kill in The Office. So I don't see why they're so hesitant about this.
I think it's more so kind of a thing where they want to make sure that it's easy for it to translate into the Marvel Universe, because the way things are kind of being set up from a lot of trailer breakdown channels and whatnot, a lot of people are assuming that this is going to start putting some framework into a potential, in the near future being part of No Way Home, because for those of you that don't know, Sony actually switched up their release schedule.
Coming out at the end of this year.
Where it's Venom's coming out at the end of this year, and Morbius got pushed specifically, even though this movie has been done before.
Yeah,
it's being pushed to after No Way Home. So there's a chance that there's going to be some situations going on, and especially since the newspaper logo for the Daily Bugle is the one that's used in the Sam Raimi universe.
That's kind of badass.
So there's a lot of situations of maybe this is going to tie in potentially someone that we're going to be introduced in Venom Let There Be Carnage can potentially show up in No Way Home because of the multiverse, and then Morbius may have some situation involved with that after the fact too. So it's curious to see what's going on. I think it's going to be a pretty decent movie. It's gonna for sure, at least it's going to be a good movie. It's not going to be one that's going to shit the bed and what I felt like the Venom movie was, and from a lot of my inner circles were kind of saying it was going to do. It seems like it's going to hit. It's going to hit like a good note.
I kind of like that change of release dates, though, because that, if what you say will end up being true, if it does become true, that aligns Morbius a lot more with Blade.
Yeah, and it would also, I think, if I remember correctly, it's going to be after the Multiverse of Madness as well, or kind of around near that timeline. And Multiverse of Madness might set up vampires being introduced, which then sets up Morbius, which then sets up Blade. Kind of that nice progression of things, which is super cool to see.
That's so cool to have an actual cinematic live action universe where fucking the Incredible Hulk and vampires exist in the same fucking realm, bro. Like, that is so cool.
Really cool to see, man.
That is far out. You've said this better than I've ever heard it said before. We are in the comic era age of comic hero movies, bro, and that is so cool. That is so cool.
It's gonna be real dope to see. Again, we're having so many different Marvel properties from all different walks, from all different production companies and stuff like that. I'm really excited to see how stuff pops off. And finally, some news that is really big for us.
It's not November.
It's not November.
But, it's still pretty cool. And it's topical. It's coming out this week.
Yeah, tomorrow. It's coming out this week, and it's a franchise that we
It should be downloadable now as of 45 minutes ago, to be honest. So after this show, we're almost done. Be sure to fucking go to the PlayStation Network, Microsoft Store, or whatever.
If our sketch looks a little bit rocky for next week, just know that we're probably spending too much time playing this game, which is Mass Effect Legendary Edition. The upgraded graphics and engine and combat styles and everything. 1, 2, and 3 with all the DLC being back in action with the N7 fucking crew.
Really big news. When we first got into it, it was funny. Like, we were given a list for Christmas, like whatever you want. Like, not whatever you want, but like make a list and we'll see what we can get. So I listed out like 10 different video game titles I wanted throughout that year that I wasn't able to get. Mass Effect was like nowhere near the top one. It was holidays, so I'm sure a lot of games were sold out. I think Mass Effect was like 5 or 6 in my list of 10. So I was like, I was interested, but I didn't know much about it. And then that ended up being the only video game I got for Christmas, and I was like, alright, cool. Like, it looked interesting, but it wasn't not even in my top 3. But I was like, alright, for sure, bet. The same thing happened with Kingdom Hearts, and that ended up being a fucking phenomenal experience that is still taking over my life today. So I ended up playing Mass Effect. And then Justin starts playing Mass Effect, hovering over me, and then taking his turn, and then we just fell in love with this franchise.
Amazing fucking game.
It was so cinematic, and the storytelling was phenomenal. It still has reached strides that modern video games failed to reach.
I think this was honestly for me the first game that, like, it felt like a whole universe that I was playing in.
It really was.
It really, like...
I mean, it literally was
It was a whole universe. But, like, I could find out stuff about a random species that really you've only seen one of in passing in, like, the hub world.
You could be in the middle of nowhere and, like, find a book that will teach you so much lore and history about, like, just the environment and the world you're living in that has really nothing to do with the story of the game, but it just makes it so rich and dense.
Yeah, and it's like some small decisions that you think, or some decisions that I think are super small and kind of insignificant, show up in the third game as being a super prevalent, pathway that led to you even having the option to make this option.
Like the butterfly effect. Literally, the butterfly effect is part of the game. Every choice you make changes the entire, except for the very last 10 minutes of the game.
Which hopefully is changed in this one.
It's not.
It's not, unfortunately.
But the franchise itself is still very much worth it to play despite that ending. That's how good. Once an ending destroys a franchise, the franchise is done.
Yeah.
That ending and a shitty follow-up has not destroyed that franchise. It's still fucking kicking and fucking. It's insane.
And, Game of Thrones didn't have that luck, but Mass Effect thankfully has. And to just go back and to just kind of re-experience everything for the first time, getting to see Garrus for the first, again.
Garrus is my boy.
Tali, getting to see Rex again, fucking just all my favorites in that game.
And I have, really personal, connections with these fictional aliens, bro. It's crazy.
That's the thing. It's I get to play with my friends again, but my friends are these virtual characters.
They're these virtual aliens, bro, and weirdly, I'm super awkwardly excited to fucking have alien sex again, bro. So excited. So Tali, that was my girl, bro, and I was committed. I did not cheat on her. I was looking at Miranda one type of way, but I was like, no, Miranda. I was looking at Jack one type of way. You look very interesting.
But I will look at you from afar, respectively.
You know what? Actually, for Jack, I made a following save file.
Okay, here's the thing about it.
It's not cheating if it's not part of the code. It's not cheating if it's not part of the code.
It isn't save file 1. It's save file 5. You have to scroll down a bit. It's on the second page.
Think of it as the multiverse. It's just a different me. It's the same me.
That's fucking funny. But for me, it's funny that you're excited, to have that. But for me, it's also I get to have the going away party that I never got to have in the original story, and that's something I missed out on because the DLC for the third one, it's to kind of make up for the very shitty ending. BioWare did this DLC where it's a party where every one of the
Citadel, the things I ended up buying the Citadel DLC, but the 360 pooped around the time when I got it, so I bought it from. I still have the receipt on my GameStop app, which is funny. I kind of want to pull it up, but I saw, and I was never able to play it because the 360, that was the second Ring of Death I got.
360 was a notorious port. But yeah, now it's nice to see I'm able to have that going away party, and I want to see especially You know, I'm humongously big fans of the Krogans. They're my favorite race. They're my big fucking tanky broody boys. And just to see Rex talk to Grunt, kind of like, you know, chieftain to, you know, the grandest soldier of them all, just having that conversation, because I've only seen a couple conversations that they had in the dialogue when you're kind of only in their world, in their home world, and now I really want to see, like, you know, they're both allies of Commander Shepard, and at least in my save file, they're the closest allies that I have, and just to I want to see that conversation that they had that I never got.
And
to
they
see
had
before.
a deep, dark history too, and like it's crazy how like they still had to rely on the people.
Heck yeah, because like Grunt, okay, so again,
I still have the Mass Effect code and everything.
That is insane,
bro.
Someone's gonna redeem that.
It expires this year.
Wow.
I've had it all this time from the original Mass Effect 3. No, I was looking at a different code. This never expires. I have this for the rest of my life.
Wow. Okay, so you know either you have this or someone else, depending on who catches it. But yeah, so it's super dope to see again, and I know it's a game that I'm gonna sink in like about 100 hours in, because mind you,
it's 3 full
games, and some context into this is how big of a fans we are.
And 100 hours not even completing.
Yeah. The first game I beat it 4 different times. The second game I beat it 3 different times, and the third game I beat it 2 different times. This is at least 40-hour chunks of gameplay to go through.
And that's not include Mass Effect 3's multiplayer.
Unfortunately, the multiplayer is likely linked in.
It's not going to.
But for those of you who would like to play the multiplayer, highly, highly recommended. It's usually on sale on Steam for your PC players, PC Master Race.
Titanfall 2 is having a big resurgence.
Titanfall 2 as well.
So
you know, a lot of those
multiplayer,
old communities are propping back up again, and for people to kind of getting reintroduced to Mass Effect, they might buy Mass Effect 3. And even just in general, that multiplayer scene is still pretty solid. It's still pretty active, and
listen
it's
here,
still
developers. Take this as a sweet little lesson, alright? If you make a good fucking game, we're gonna keep playing it and keep buying it for many, many years to come, alright? Stop selling us these unfinished pieces of unpolished turd, okay? It's not even polished turd, it's unpolished turd, okay? Y'all fuck it up.
And most importantly,
I'm not against live services either, but y'all fucking up all these live services.
And most importantly, like, I think the biggest thing too about games like Titanfall 2, games like Mass Effect 3 multiplayer, and just in general, one thing I think, okay, we're going on a fucking off tangent right here. Their worlds, their universes, and you feel they're fleshed out. There's that, but I feel like the character progression in terms of, you know, power creep is a big thing in anime, movies, TV shows, video games, all the fucking time.
DT's character progression was crazy.
Heck
I did not want that robot to die.
So, character progression and how you progress through multiplayer, humongous factors. And seeing that evolution of your character being this one person versus the person and how you get to that point makes all the fucking difference. So I'm so excited to really go back to the game. I think really taught me this lesson in the most thorough, in-depth, and burnt-in way possible. And I'm so excited to get back to it, man. I'm so fucking excited to get back to it.
And like, because you spend so much time with it and because you start so low, every moment feels so amazing. I remember when you first turned into the first human Spectre and the council and shit like that. Like, I felt like that was literally me. Like, oh my god. Like,
and even the
hi
music.
Guys. Oh man, like all the aliens accept me now. Oh, I tried so hard for
It is really cool.
I just wanted to be your friends.
And then it's like the music of the game too. Like, I know it's a space game. You're supposed to feel like you're in space, but God, the music.
They really pioneered that kind of soundtrack. Like that was even before the Social Network. And the Social Network still had that kind of music, and they became famous. They were thought as pioneers. No, Mass Effect that did that kind of music before the Social Network.
Heck yeah, you just feel like these are the sounds that you would hear on the Space Station Club. This is the sound you would hear in this desolate planet. This is the sounds you would hear in this fucking, it feels like this whole orchestra is being played around while you're going against one of the big bad bosses and stuff like that. Even the sound designs of the monsters and the fighter people that you're going against sounds so fucking crisp. Oh, I just can't wait.
My first ever platinum trophy, maybe like my only one of one platinum trophy. It was the Xbox equivalent version. I forgot what that was called. Was from Mass Effect. It's when I got like the 100% a Paragon Award.
Oh,
that wasn't even intentional. That wasn't even something I was like trying to strive for. It's just those are decisions just naturally I just wanted to make. It's
and I received 100% renegade.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's like we talk about this a lot. We're like literally the same person but counter opposites.
Yeah,
like,
it's a dichotomy. But that's why we feel like we're able to provide you guys with some high quality content, and hopefully we're as entertaining as possible. And I feel like talking about a game we beloved and we continue loving is a good way to end off this episode.
Definitely. Thank you for supporting us and watching us.
As always.
We look forward to doing this every week.
And again, here's our socials. I just took them down, but I'm putting them back up again. This is ours. This is mine. This is his. And our producer, who unfortunately could not make it today. This is Malcolm's. And we hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Let us know in the comments if you did. And we hope to catch y'all next week.
Gang, gang.
Gang, gang. Peace.
Did I press stop?